Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Jadis Joe here once again. Once again, ranting and raving, confessing, maybe even. Anyway, today we're going to talk about balancing issues. Ha! I said it last time I had trouble. Even though last time was like, what, 30 seconds ago, and I just took off my shirt to make it look like it's a totally different day. Fluffed up my hair a little bit. But last time I talked about, or the first rant video was about FPS arena shooters. It kind of turned into a video about RPG systems. The second video was about RPG systems. The third one was more about actual FPS shooters. That also kind of turned into RPG systems. But nowadays it's kind of hard to talk about either or without combining them into the same. But today, as I said, it's going to be about balancing. There it is again, balancing issues. Which is really a cultural problem and not so much an industry problem. It's one of those things that we as a culture, expect games to be fair when if it's an RPG, if it has RPG elements in it, it's really designed for somebody at some point to have an advantage over you. And as a culture, we need to accept that. Oh, I just can't talk. Probably should do this later, but we're not going to. We're going to move on because that's what humans do. But yeah, so balancing issues are more about us as players. Understanding that, games are designed to be unbalanced at some point, not in your favor. I mean, it's one of those things let's go back to the original FPS shooters. FPS shooters is everybody started with the same gun. You could run around the level, collect different guns, and shoot your friends with those. Core concept was everybody was even as far as the character was concerned. Everybody was equal until somebody got a better gun. Okay? And then that was actually in-game. Out of game, you start the game and you're better than your buddy if you're better at the game than he is. Or she's better than you are because she's better than the game is. So I guess as a cultural thing, we as gamers know that we can't balance our friends. We can't sit there and we can't balance other players because we know that they may be better or they may be worse than us. And we love it when they're worse than us. We absolutely, tear into somebody that's worse than us. I know when I was playing games, if I knew that that player was worse than me, I would focus on him because that would increase my kill count and whatever. Because I'm an asshole like that, I guess. But don't judge me because everybody does it. But we are aware we can't balance other people. We can't say, hey, you're better than me. Get a handicap. Even though most games do allow that. Not most games, but some games allow that where you can, like, oh, you're better than me. You only get half health. Turn that down. Even though nobody ever uses that. It's still nice that they put that in there. Because then you can screw with your friend and set up their profile before they go into it and they start with like one health and you can one-shot them no matter what. Once again, I'm an asshole. Don't judge me. But when it comes to actually in-game mechanics, we tend to be a little more nitpicky. We tend to be a little more, blah about it because we know that's something we can control. We know that's something that we can bitch at the developers to have them change it to where it's now in our favor instead of the person that plays like that favor. And that's wrong. I'm not going to say that's my feeling on the subject. I'm not going to say this is how I see it. I'm going to tell you straight up that's wrong. Okay, to say that, the shotgun does too much damage when, I'm 5, inches in front of him and he can one-shot me. That is wrong because, in principle, that's what a shotgun does. If you are super close to it and he has birdshot in there or he has, double buckshot in there, double buck is a little more range, but it's still going to rip you apart if you're standing 5 inches around the shotgun. That's not a balancing issue that the company has to take care of. That's something that you have to change your tactics on and get the fuck away from a person with a shotgun. It's one of those things like, no, the shotgun doesn't do too much damage. Just don't stand right next to a guy with a shotgun. Plain and simple. Or, the sniper rifle does too much damage and has too long a range. Just like, no, that's what a sniper rifle is meant to do. Sniper rifle is a large caliber weapon that can reach out and touch you from a distance. So if you don't like sniper rifles, stay in cover, don't go into open fields, and run across gaps. So it's not really a matter of the company's responsibility to change or to nerf or to, you know, lower the damage of these weapons or, you know, change these weapons so it's fairer for you. It's up to you as a player to change the way you play against these people. Like, oh, a sniper's giving you a hard time? Guess what? 90% of the time, he's staring down his scope. Flank him, climb up to where he's at, and hit him. That's how you defeat a sniper, at least in video games. Because usually, in real life, there's more than one person on a sniper team. But anyway, it's one of those things that the culture has to change. As soon as the culture about balancing issues changes, the games will actually start to change as well. We'll see more interesting things in video games. We'll see more, you know, unique concepts in video games when we're not bitching and moaning that it's totally overpowered or totally underpowered or any of that stuff. And that's really important for the video game industry because, once again, it's an industry. They make something for us to buy, for us to consume, and for us to enjoy. So if we sit there and we're not enjoying it, they want to change it. And by changing it, they get back to the mundane, you know, everything's the same. Like, for instance, I was thinking earlier, it's like, okay, well, how do they balance guns in an FPS shooter? And it's really simple. Let's say you have a Mech 10 and you have, you know, an M1 Garand. You know, the Mech 10 may only do, let's say, 10 damage, but fires, you know, 10 rounds a second, you know, giving you, you know, 1,000 damage or 100 damage, or I'm not good at math, but giving you X damage. The M1 Garand at the other time may do 100 damage, but only fires one round a second. So really, it's the same damage you're doing, just at different rates. And that's how they balance guns in, you know, video games. And it's one of those things that I don't care if you get hit with a Mech 10 or if you get hit with a, you know, M1, you're going to be in pain or die regardless of how many times they hit you with the Mech 10 or how many times they hit you with the Mech 1 or with the Mech 10 or the M1. And that's where I really think FPSs have gone wrong. They have, you know, given people more health, more armor, you know, fancier tools and fancier things. They should really just strip that all back and go, okay, guess what? Yeah, it takes you, you know, 1 second to respawn, but if you get hit once, you're dead. And it's one of those things that I would play that game. Because guess what? I can't tell you how many times that I have hit somebody first, but they have turned and, you know, strafed me and headshot me and killed me. As a matter of fact, I think Call of Duty did that on one of their games. It was like hardcore mode or operator mode or something where it was one shot, one killed, and I love playing that. That was amazing. And I did better at it than in the original game. Why? Because I'm a realist and I'm used to shooting somebody and seeing, shooting somebody, I'm not used to, but I believe that you shoot somebody and they go down and then you move on to your next target. But no, most of the times I would shoot somebody, be like, okay, I hit him, and they would turn, you know, headshot me and I'd be dead. I'm like, that's totally not fair. But once again, no need to bitch to the, you know, producers about this because it was my fault. I'm like, okay, from now on I just need to be sure to shoot him twice or, you know, shoot him 3 times or, you know, headshot him. And I adapted my gameplay, I changed my tactics, and I had a blast. But then I found the operator mode or the hardcore mode or whatever it was, and I had a super fun time in that because I was actually doing good because I would shoot somebody, they would die, shoot somebody else, they would die, somebody would shoot me, I would die. And it was awesome. It was a cool concept, or a cool mode in a game that made me enjoy it. And I'm sure a lot of people hated it because they couldn't sit there and just, or they couldn't just sit there and survive being hit and then, you know, headshot people. But as far as us as gamers, we need to evolve, and once we evolve as gamers, the gaming industry will see that and evolve with us. I mean, the whole problem right now is that we are all stuck in this evolution trench, so therefore the producers and the developers are stuck in an evolutionary trench. that they just keep pumping out the same thing over and over and over again. And that's fine, because, you know, culture does stall. Culture does reach a point where it flatlines for a long period of time until either the culture itself changes or somebody changes the culture. And it's an interesting concept. It's one I have to do more reading on, but the little bit of reading I've done on it is actually very, very interesting. I guess it's important to understand, here's the next line of reasoning. It's important for you to understand that when you're playing an FPS shooter, or when you're playing any multiplayer game that has, you know, that has player versus player combat in it, the whole point of the game is to kill another player. So this whole bitching and moaning that blah 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 killed me is stupid. It needs to stop. Seriously. Or if you're playing an FPS shooter online and somebody shoots you in the head from across the way, there's no reason to blow up. There's no reason to, you know, cuss and, you know, use profanities and insult the person, because that's what the game is designed for. Now, I could understand if the game was designed that you had to go up and you had to tickle somebody, and as you tickle them, they get points, and then eventually they pass out from pure joy, and then somebody comes up and stabs you in the face. Yes, that is something you should bitch about. If the game is about tickling and somebody stabs you in the face, you can bitch about being stabbed in the face. But if the game is about killing other players, don't bitch and complain when somebody kills you. I know people have said this before. I know it's not a new concept, but it's a concept that needs to fucking stick. Okay? Or if you're playing an RPG and you're sitting there and you see a guy you want to kill, whether it's an NPC or another player, and you look at him and he's 10 levels higher than you, and you still go over and try to kill him, not the producers or the developers' fault. It is your fault for not knowing that you cannot take out a player or an NPC 10 levels higher than you. So you need to stop bitching about it. And especially in the multiplayer situations, talk to your friends. Talk to the other people. And I guarantee you that the other people will be like, yeah, you know, that thing's pissing me off too. Or that player's pissing me off too. Well, let's gang up on them. Why? Because humans are pack animals. We like being in a group, even if we're the low ball of the group, even if we're all the way down at the bottom that everybody shits on, we still enjoy being in the group. So talk to your friends, and they will come over, whether it's an RPG or an FPS shooter, and they will help you kill the guy that's running circles around you, or defeat the level 10 monster that you have no hope on defeating on your own. But I digress. Back to RPGs. We as video gamers, whether hardcore or whether, what's the word I'm looking for? La-di-da, not la-di-da, not hoity-toity. Hardcore versus light gamers, we'll call them light gamers. Hardcore versus light gamers. Need to demand more of the industry. We need to, I guess in some way, share ideas with them or share concepts that we have, because that could be what the video game industry is suffering from too, is lack of creative ideas. Creative ideas usually don't come from within the source. Usually creative ideas come from outside and change how the corporation thinks. And for a long time, all the ideas were coming from inside. Even now, they're coming from inside. I think that's what I'm saying, is the corporation should start opening it up a little more and saying, okay, if anybody has an idea, we'll pay you for your idea. Or if anybody has, you know, a concept for a game, we'll pay you for the concept of the game. But once again, that's not how business works, unfortunately. So I doubt that will ever happen. And I know it has happened on some small, minor levels with some indie companies and with some other companies. And it's a great attempt to change our culture, and I definitely am 100% behind that. But I guess please, in closing, please think about how you act while playing video games, whether towards other players or towards the people that have produced and made and released these games. Because really, most of the balancing issues in games can be overcome by you yourself as a gamer changing your tactics or coming up with another way to overcome it other than just running towards a sniper and having him shoot you. So And as soon as that little bit of annoyance is taken care of from the developers, they'll start feeling more secure in their ideas. They'll start saying, okay, well, we can do this, well, we can do that. And then once they start doing that, let them do it for a little bit, let them get used to it, and then start bitching about balancing again, because it has to be a check and balance. It has to be, okay, we're going to try this. Okay, no, that didn't work, we're checking it. Instead of just going, we're going to do this. Okay, we're checking it, we're going to do this. Okay, we're checking it, we're going to do this, we're checking it, we're going to do this, we're checking it. Because eventually, what happens is, hey, if you keep checking them, they're going to go down here to where they know it's safe, and they're going to put a game out, and then everybody's going to go, oh, okay, that's just like Fallout. Oh, okay, that's just like Call of Duty. Oh, that's just like Battlefield. Okay, that's safe. We're not going to check it. And then they're just going to stay at this point forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And we're not going to get anything new. We're not going to get anything cool. We're not going to get anything but what we've got for the last 3 or 4 years. So anyway, I'm Jadis Joe. Thank you so much for listening to me rant. You know about the likes and subscribe. Do it if you want. Don't do it if you don't. But more importantly, have fun and be safe. I'm going to turn this off in one shot. Watch this. Hiya!